Well, Nintendo gave us a pretty exciting update regarding the April Nintendo Direct surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is that we now have the time of the Direct. It is April 2nd, Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, and it is happening at 6 a.m. Pacific Time. This is the tweet that Nintendo sent early today, and they said join us on April 2nd at 6 a.m. Pacific Time for Nintendo Direct Nintendo Switch 2, April 2nd, 2025, where we will share a closer look at Nintendo Switch 2. So, there we have it. 6 a.m. Pacific Time, which is my time, or 9 a.m. Eastern Time, so it's very, very early for me, but for some of you, it's a little bit more of a reasonable time, although at 9 o'clock, it probably starts to blend into a lot of work hours for folks. The one advantage I feel like I have on the West Coast of the United States is that 6 a.m. is early enough for me to be able to watch the video, maybe even record myself watching it, or make a video afterwards and basically just create a reaction video and discuss everything that we see in it. Which is very exciting because this is the blowout that we're waiting for. This is like the final stop on the way to the release of Nintendo's next generation. I very, very much applaud them for revealing the Switch 2, but at the end of that reveal, including this information about the Nintendo Direct in April. They were willing to let us know. I mean, it's 2.5 months notice for this Direct, and I think that it's smart for Nintendo to do this kind of thing. Even though I made a video kind of discussing this concept of 2 months of silence between the reveal of the Switch 2 and then the Direct in April, that really wasn't meant to be necessarily like a negative take or a negative analysis, because I've been saying for a long time, I think Nintendo always could have told us weeks or even months before they were going to reveal the Switch 2 when the reveal was going to happen. It never needed to be a surprise. They never needed to do the 24 or 48 hour notice, and they sure as hell never needed to do the shadow drop that they ended up doing. They could have just told us well ahead of time and let everyone be prepared for it and excited for it. And they didn't do that. They shadow dropped the reveal, but they did, as per the conversation of this whole video, they did let us know 2.5 months ahead of time when to expect the Nintendo Direct and all of the information about the Switch 2 we were really going to want. And I think that kind of transparency and hopefully that kind of communication model becomes a bit of a template for the future for Nintendo going forward. I'm not sure how any of you guys out there are going to feel about this concept. Maybe a lot of people will agree, or maybe I'll be alone in this thinking, which is also totally fine. But I kind of think it's okay for Nintendo to get away from this communication strategy of 24 hours notice for things like a Nintendo Direct and whatnot. I don't really know why they thought that was the best way to go about it. I mean, to be fair, it's clearly worked for the last 8, 9, 10 years, however long they've been doing it that way. We're all kind of accustomed to waiting for, is it this month, is it this week for a Nintendo Direct, and waiting for the day that we learn there will be a Nintendo Direct the following day. And so that kind of hype and anticipation certainly has worked in their favor before. But I also think it would be a little bit more convenient to a lot of us to know ahead of time, whether you're talking about like the more traditional press or just the regular game fan, or those of us who are in like the YouTuber space, the content creation space, because there definitely are times where a Direct might be happening at a time that isn't convenient for me because of work or something else going on. And if I maybe know a week or so ahead of time, I might be able to move some things around and be a little bit more available to watch it right as it happens and not have to watch later or not have to skip it entirely and just keep up in news articles and find out what's happening through that way, or even try to avoid spoilers. Let's say I have to only be an hour or two behind before I can watch it. I have to make sure not to see any spoilers online and people talking about it in real time. And so, yeah, it's a long way to say that I think that there could be an advantage in the Switch 2 era for them to maybe adjust this. I don't know that I predict it, but it's also a way for me to again call out how much I like the fact that they've given us so much advance notice for when this Direct was going to happen. They didn't just wait till April 1st, which of course would have been April Fool's Day, so haha. April 1st or even March 31st, and waited until then to say, oh, on Wednesday the 2nd, 2 days from now, Nintendo Direct around the Switch 2, that would have been so long for us to wait and wonder what's been going on since they revealed it in January. And also, even though I dread waking up early enough to watch this and even try to consider turning my lights and camera on this early in the morning, I actually am getting a little bit more excited about it as I talk about it and consider it. The fact that it's going to be so early that day. Not only because, like I said, I can get ahead of work and whatnot, but it's going to be able to start my day with something really exciting. And I think the day for everybody who follows the news, who YouTubers and content creators, for all of the news outlets to soak in everything that they show us and be able to talk about it and cover it and be excited for it. Now, something else worth noting, though, is that they didn't give us an indication on how long it's going to be. It has become a little bit more typical for Nintendo to tell us, stay tuned for a Nintendo Direct on this day, 40 minutes worth of information on Nintendo Switch games for 2024, whatever they would say. They're not giving us any of that information now. Perhaps they're going to later. I mean, the random decision several weeks later to be like, oh, by the way, here's the time of the Nintendo Direct. That's kind of strange, and there's still 2 months to go, so maybe sometime in March they say, oh, here's a new update. It's going to be 45 minutes, or whatever it's going to be. Maybe it's something like an hour. Who knows? So as of right now, we don't know how long it's going to be because who knows how much they're going to have to cover. I think that the original... The Japan presentation, the stage presentation for the Switch in January 2017, I believe that was over an hour. So it's a Nintendo Direct, so it's like a pre-packaged kind of thing. It's not a live stage presentation. But I'm willing to bet that they're still going to need a similar amount of time because, again, they're going to be introducing us to features, Joy-Con features that we don't know about, UI elements, games, of course, the date, the price, maybe future ventures that they just want to lay out to us that relate to the Switch 2, something that maybe none of us could even think of now. Who knows? We might even hear from other developers the way they did also in the January 2017 event. So I think that this is probably 45 minutes at minimum. Hopefully it's going to be around an hour. So at this point, there's not a whole lot more to add other than to just say how exciting this is. I'm excited. I'm sure you guys are excited. Knowing the date of the Direct in April is fantastic. Now we know a time. It's just nice to kind of see this thing start to come more and more into focus and have a better idea of maybe what to expect and when to expect it. As I said, I've become kind of more accepting of the fact that it's 6 a.m. because it gives me time to watch and record and do all that stuff before I start work that day. And, now we just kind of get to let our minds wander on what's actually going to be there. And for me, it's all about Metroid, baby. I just want to see Metroid Prime 4. I want to get the date. I want to see new gameplay. I want to see confirmation that it's cross-gen and, not just the speculation that it's been for all of us. And if it's cross-gen, I want to see what that version looks like. I want to see how much better they make it, And if it's not cross-gen, that's fine, because I still think they could find a way to squeeze Metroid Prime 4 into the Direct anyway, simply because of backwards compatibility. But we're going to see Mario Kart. We're probably going to see Metroid. Maybe we're going to see something else massive like the big 3D Mario game that we all talk about and wonder about. Probably some third-party games. I think that's going to be there. And like I already mentioned, I think they're going to have to focus on features of the Joy-Con and the Switch that we don't yet know about or talk about them more, like the mouse functionality, and again, the UI and any other Nintendo Switch Online updates or adjustments that they want to make to their whole program there. It's going to be a lot of information, and I think it's all going to be very exciting. Hopefully, we don't learn anything that's kind of disappointing, but I don't personally expect that. I think it's all going to be very exciting stuff, so this is the update. These are some of my thoughts. We now know 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, April 2nd. We are closing in on this Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. It is very exciting, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.